Hey folks, double shot this week. So I shot one on Wednesday because I was late last week getting one out. So I said I'd shoot one today because we've got some people missing from the house and it's a perfect opportunity to do one. So happy Saturday. So Wednesday I went off on a bit of a tangent about the restrictions for the entertainment industry concerning COVID-19 and not letting people dance and have a bit of fun in the bars, but you can get back on the dirty old VLTs, the WAPs. So I said what I had to say there, and had some people respond and say, yeah, you know, it's kind of weird how they're doing things. It's almost like they're doing it as they're going along, making up the rules. So anyway, they've got new ones now about George Street, but we'll leave it all alone, take politics out of here, and get back to talking about mediocrity. How's that? Perfect. So we've gone through a whole list of stuff here, like about gigging and getting gigs, gig bags, load in, load out, trying to remain minimalistic in what you bring, or realistic at least, to your gig, right up to your sound checking, you know. There's also now we're at the end of the night and you're loading out, and just a little bit of advice on loading out. You want to do it as quickly as possible. You don't want to go around high-fiving your buddies and pretending you're a rock star or something, because the thing is that a lot of the staff at that bar have been there longer than you were that whole day, and they want to go to hell on home out of it. So just get your shit together and get the frig on out of there. Just be as efficient as you can, and the earlier you can get out of there, the better, because you can hit the drive-through at McDonald's, because you know you just got paid some money and shit, so you can go eat, or wherever you like to eat. Some people like to eat healthy. I don't. I like McDonald's. I like French fries, so especially like 3 o'clock in the morning. So just get your stuff out and be efficient, and don't look back. Also, if you have the ability to get your stuff out of the venue that night, it's always a good idea to do it, because if you got somebody else coming in the next day, they don't want to come in and deal with your shit still on the stage, especially if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and they're on at 4 and your shit's still there. That's just douchebaggery right there. There's no reason you couldn't have it out there. If I'm playing here in the city, I like to go to the bar and I like to set up as early as I can. Like, I'm talking knocking on the door because somebody's just opening up. But that gives me the rest of the day to do some stuff that I need to do. You know, do my nails and makeup and try to make my mug look a little bit better. It's a daunting task. I'm kind of a husk of a man, so it doesn't always turn out good. But anyway, that's it. So that's pretty much summing up your gigs and what I've been kind of talking to people who are just starting out, whether you're 19 or whether you're 59 and you're starting your first band. Those are just some of the things that I learned along the way, as did many of a musician around, and the 5, I think I got 6 people watching these now, would tell you, you know, these are little things that I wish somebody told me. So the biggest thing I can tell you is use your professional courtesy to everybody. Just be nice. It's easy. It's so easy to be nice to people. I don't know why the fuck people just can't do it. So that's it. And talking about gigs, you know, I rag on myself a little bit for being mediocre, and it's easy to see when you watch these videos, but in all seriousness, I am a little bit better than what you see here. It's just that sometimes I roll right out of bed and shoot one of these. I don't warm up. I don't do retakes. I probably got a kid at the door here who's looking for one of his basic survival needs, like liquids or food or something. So I'm kind of rushed, or I'm supposed to have the lawn mowed by the time the missus gets home, and she left, and I came back in and shot one of these. So I do every once in a while when I'm playing get a compliment about something, besides the shirt I'm wearing, or somebody coming up and saying, "Hey, you're tall." Sometimes people actually compliment my playing. They'll say I did a good job on something. But one that keeps popping up every now and then, and I've had some actually well-known guitar players from the city compliment on it, and his tone and sounding full. So thought I'd talk about that a little bit today. Some of the little tricks of the trade that I use. And they're not many, trust me. It's pretty simple. Number one, don't overplay. Can't stress that one enough, and I've talked about it before. Thing that happens if you overplay and you're putting solos into places where they're not supposed to go is that sometimes the levels drop out. I'm kind of lucky in a well, not kind of, I am lucky in a way that the bassists that I've played with, because we're a four-piece band, and in the background we've got me on guitar, Piri on bass, Alex on drums. We don't have that second guitar, so I've got to cover that ground, as does Piri. And it's not just on me, but I'm lucky in the way that Piri doesn't play just roots. He's actually playing bass lines that are supposed to be in the song. He's got chops, and that helps out. So if I go to do a guitar solo, when I launch into something, he knows how to cover the ground to fill it in. And we're a four-piece, not because of vanity. It's all economic, and we don't have the money to hire somebody else right now, especially now. But the economic situation here with the whole cover band bar scene, and even for the original guys, they got it worse. They're getting paid less, which really sucks. We just can't bring in another guitar player. So there are a few things that you need to, keep in mind there about overplaying. Is that when you start soloing, then a large portion of the sound drops out. So you need to have a bass player who can cover that ground for you, and that's a big one for us. If you're noodling, it also takes from the song. If you're noodling somewhere you're not supposed to be, or as Don Breton calls it, whizzle-wazzling. So you need to really chunk up and play a song the way it's supposed to be played for the most part. If you want to improvise or solos or something, or throw things in there to add in a bit of meat, that's cool too. So number one, just don't overplay. Secondly, this is something I got from Joe Satriani of all people. Believe it or not, I do like the shreddy guitar players. I'm a huge 80s kind of shred fan. Know where your chords are everywhere on the neck. So, for instance, if you're going to do, your A major, it's... you can counter what somebody else is doing. Another guitar player, if you're in a two-guitar situation, or if you're, if it's, I like to counter off what Piri's doing. If he's playing something that's more up here, I like to keep it down here a little bit, and vice versa. If he's doing some bass runs that are, kind of like higher, I'll go lower. It doesn't seem like much, but it helps. I don't use a lot of just regular two-finger power chords. And it mightn't seem like much, but I'll use the old punk rock 3 chord. And I use a lot of what we would call back in the day cowboy chords, like the chords up on the 3rd fret. I'll use that as opposed to just a lot of time unless it calls for it. Another thing I like to do is just add this. So it's just basically E5, and I'm adding, well, it's not really E5. I'm just adding the B's. So I got the B here on the A string, and the B here on the G string, and everything else is open. So I find that adds a little bit of thickness as well to my playing. If I'm doing something like I'll throw like a just something there that kind of fills it out, makes it sound, I guess fancy is the word I'd use. And I find that helps. That just adds a little bit of flavor to it. So your chords. Gear plays an important role. You'll always hear the argument of people saying that you need thick gauge strings or whatever. Well, keep in mind Billy Gibbons uses 8s. Pick thickness does matter, though. A heavier pick is a bit warmer. Even though I think Paul Gilbert's using like a .60 now, and he's just like a motherfucker. Holy shit. But he's 9 feet tall and his finger's this long, so he's cool. That works for him, but drive, pedals obviously, and your amp play a big role in the kind of making you sound a bit hefty. I've showed you my pedal board before. I got nothing fancy on there. I got, right now, my main drive that I use all the time is my MXR modified OD. It's the gold one. And believe it or not, I paid $150 for it. That's taxes in. It was like 149 something taxes in, and which is funny because there's a guy selling one on the St. John's Music Trade now for $150. I guess that's the same guy who's always trying to sell like a classic vibe Squire for Les Paul. No Eppies, no studios. I'm running that, and I'll stack it with a very inexpensive Electro Harmonix East River Drive. It's like a $75 pedal. I'll use that for a clean boost, and sometimes just to add a little bit of like kind of dirt to my clean channel. And thirdly, this is a big one to go into part 3 here, is your amp volume makes a big difference in getting a fuller sound. I'd always try to keep a lower stage volume one time to save everybody's ears, and not saying that you got to shred people's heads off, but I was always doing it wrong because I like a lot of hard rock and rock and roll. I'd always do my overdrive when I was in sound check, do the overdrive, and then work on the clean, and you got to do it the other way around. You got to get your clean tone first, and I'm sure a lot of people do that, but this is new to me. You get your clean tone first. You get the volume, you get the trebles, the basses, the mid-range, you get all that right, and then you use your overdrives to get in there to get the levels, so you don't have like the dropouts, or you don't want your overdrive to be overpowering. So you work at it, and you use your outputs, your output dials on the pedals to do so, because continuity, that's a big word like gymnasium. Continuity is very important. You need to have that consistency when you're switching from clean to overdrive and vice versa if you're going back. You don't want it to saturate too much. So your gear is very important in that sense, and how you use it to sound full. And that's pretty much my only thing that I do. I don't have a whole lot of skill, as seen, so I just kind of like to go with that. I learned most of my shit like that from watching YouTube videos, especially the thing on the amp. I just happened on it one day, and there was a guy explaining how he gets his tone live and how it works for him, and he just showed the differences, the subtle differences, doing it that way, just starting that way. So I wasn't the only guitar player out there who was starting with my overdrive in sound check and getting that tweaked and then going to my clean. Obviously, for him to be talking about it, it seems to be a bit of a problem. So that's it. So anyway, folks, I guess that's going to be it. That's all I had to say today. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the comments and stuff when I get them. It means a lot, because it means that the 5 of you are paying attention, and that's cool. If you got anything to add, any tips here, man, like on tones and shit, like, comment, please, because I like to learn, and that's important, taking advice from other players and other musicians. Also, it's Saturday night, so guys like Tony Thompson are going to be in Club Teabag, and you got Don Brenton doing his Saturday Night Cure, so tune into those things. And anybody who's putting anything up, man, support it. It's people, they're reminding you that they're still there and they're still playing, and because this is what we got right now, and we don't know when it's going to come back. Anyway, folks, cheers and have a great Saturday.